Just when it seemed she had retreated into seclusion to become an ordinary breastfeeding mother, former spy Marissa is unexpectedly pulled into a crazy mission. This time, the enemy is not stealing money, but wants to deprive time of all humanity. When the secret is exposed, her two stepchildren who have always opposed her now are forced to stand up, becoming the new generation of kid spies to save the world. The story begins with Marissa Wilson. She serves at OS, which is the super spy agency. At this moment, she is carrying out the mission of monitoring the villain TikTok, the one trying to buy a small hard drive stolen from OS. Despite being 9 months pregnant, she still persistently pursues him, ignoring all warnings from her superiors. While TikTok prepares to escape, she tries hard to stay close, but sudden labor pains appear intensely. Marissa quickly contacts her husband Wilbur, who is a male host on television. Wilbur knows nothing about his wife's secret agent identity and firmly believes she is an interior decoration expert. She reports that she is about to give birth and asks him to head to the hospital immediately. Then she hangs up and rushes straight into an abandoned construction site, where she swiftly subdues all of TikTok's subordinates. Right after that, Boss Danger Daimo leads police forces there and successfully arrests TikTok. Marissa then affirms that this is her final mission because she desires to devote all her heart and energy to her small family. At the hospital, she reunites with her husband and his two stepchildren, Rebecca along with Cecil. Finally, she gives birth to a little princess and names the baby Maria. The story shifts to 1 year later, when Marissa's whole family is gathering for breakfast, except for Wilbur, who is busy with his program Spy Hunter. He expresses the intention that if the project succeeds in the next 5 years, he will devote all his time to the children, but the kids do not seem very interested. When Wilbur returns home in the evening, Cecil asks if Dad has caught any agents yet and he says no. When he comes to greet Marissa, Rebecca shows jealousy and immediately walks away. Although Marissa has been her stepmother for 2 years, Rebecca still has not opened her heart and always remembers her biological mother. A moment later, Marissa visits the siblings' room and gives Rebecca a photo of the girl's mother, which makes the child very happy. Marissa expresses her wish for the two of them to become close friends despite their differences, then gives Rebecca the necklace with the red sapphire stone that her parents once gave her. Rebecca seems pleased, but as soon as Marissa steps out, meanwhile, Wilbur is worrying about how to catch an agent for his own program when Marissa unexpectedly enters his room. The two watch the news together and notice scientists warning about the terrifying phenomenon of time passing extremely fast, hours like minutes, minutes like seconds, and seconds like milliseconds. A genius villain nicknamed Timekeeper has stepped forward to take responsibility, declaring that he will activate the Armageddon Project to punish society, which he believes has wasted time on meaningless things instead of cherishing loved ones. On television, TikTok also appears behind Timekeeper, which makes Marissa uneasy, but Wilbur is excited because he sees a chance for fame. After that, Timekeeper orders TikTok to obtain the Chronos Sapphire at all costs, which turns out to be the stone attached to the necklace that Marissa had just given Rebecca that day. The next morning, the OS organization contacts Marissa and asks her to deliver the Chronos Sapphire gem to the organization's headquarters. Meanwhile, Rebecca is writing a letter of apology to Marissa for her mischievous pranks the night before. A few minutes later, Marissa walks in to ask about the necklace she gave the girl the previous day. Hearing that, Rebecca suddenly becomes angry and returns the piece of jewelry in a box. After that, Marissa asks the loyal dog Argonaut to watch the children and then leaves the house with baby Maria. At the same time, TikTok and his subordinates arrive at Marissa's house to steal the precious Chronos Sapphire gem. Suddenly, the alarm bell rings, warning the two children to hide in the safe room, but Rebecca thinks it is a joke until the bad guys break in. Rebecca and Cecil run to the safe room, where they watch a video from Marissa explaining her secret job. It turns out their dog Argonaut is not an ordinary creature, but a robot built to protect the safety of both of them. The dog Argonaut begins to speak, making the two children feel extremely amazed. Next, Argonaut tells the children to sit in the chairs while the secret room is under attack from outside. Immediately, the chairs transform into a jet plane to help them escape the house. However, the pursuers catch up and Marissa's system must guide the children on how to operate the plane safely. Unfortunately, Cecil feels nauseous and the boy opens the window. Seizing the opportunity, the attackers try to snatch Rebecca's necklace, but Cecil throws vomit bags straight at them, causing one to fall. Rebecca urges Cecil to continue, so the boy throws all the remaining vomit bags at the enemies, helping both escape the pursuit. At that moment, Argonaut contacts Marissa to report the current situation of the children. Marissa immediately instructs the robot to take the two kids to OS headquarters to ensure their safety. When the children arrive at the place, they are welcomed by Marissa's niece, the courageous Carmen Cortez. She leads them to the room where she and her brother Junie once started their spy careers when they were still children. Here, the kids find some equipment, but it does not work as expected. Carmen then takes them to the waiting room and leaves them there before returning to her duties elsewhere. Meanwhile, Marissa finds TikTok's lair and secretly monitors all his movements. Immediately, TikTok detects Marissa's presence and deploys his subordinates to confront her. However, Marissa quickly defeats them in the blink of an eye, leaving TikTok with no choice but to flee. On the other hand, Rebecca and Cecil are eager to become spies, so they try to activate the equipment in the kids' spy division. Since the technology does not respond, they decide to use their personal skills and set out on their own to find Timekeeper. Outside, OS staff discover them and think they have trespassed illegally, so they try to arrest them. Using Argonaut's advanced skills, the children outmaneuver the staff and escape. After that, they accidentally pass through a room and realize that the OS agents have tried but failed to locate Timekeeper. Cecil realizes the information is an anagram and decodes Timekeeper's location as a watch shop. The two cleverly use their tools to escape the current situation and finally reach the watch shop. Then, Carmen calls Marissa to report that the children have gone missing, and Marissa immediately asks for their location. At the shop door, the children discover a secret passage leading to a room, but to pass, they must dodge the continuously rotating gears. After a lot of effort, they successfully overcome the obstacle and accidentally watch a documentary video. The video tells about the Wells experiment that took place in the 1930s. In this experiment, a machine called Armageddon trapped a child in the flow of time. Many years later, the child finally escaped with the help of the sapphire crystal. Rebecca suddenly realizes that the bad guys are hunting her necklace. The pair tries to flee, but TikTok quickly catches them and brings them to Timekeeper. Timekeeper forcefully demands that Rebecca hand over the necklace. At the most tense moment, Marissa along with Carmen arrive at the scene in time. A fierce battle breaks out between Marissa and Carmen against Timekeeper and his henchmen. Amid the chaos, the children's devices finally activate, helping Cecil and Rebecca defeat the enemy forces. At the same time, Wilbur approaches the building thanks to the agent tracking device along with his personal cameraman. He discovers the fight is ongoing and records everything to broadcast. In the midst of the encirclement, Argonaut tries to take down many enemies, but when the thugs arrive in too many numbers, Marissa orders the children to retreat. While they are trying to escape, TikTok seizes the opportunity to steal the necklace. Once outside, Marissa hands the children over to Carmen for care and begins to prepare to leave. While moving, she receives a call from Wilbur, who happily reports that he has just filmed the agent's battle at the watch shop. After hearing that, Marissa feels scared and quickly ends the call. When Wilbur brings the footage back for his superiors to watch, he is shocked to realize his wife and children are in it. In anger, he spills coffee on the computer and completely destroys the original recording. The consequence of this outburst is that Wilbur is immediately fired. He cleans up his belongings and leaves the office. A moment later, Wilbur sees Marissa along with baby Maria standing there waiting for him. She apologizes, but he is extremely angry because of her lies. Marissa explains that she never revealed her secret profession because she had decided to retire on the exact day their daughter was born, and she hopes he gives her a chance. However, Wilbur accidentally replies that he wants more time to face the truth and then drives away. As the global time continues to accelerate in a horrifying way, the OS spy team is summoned to hear a briefing about the Wells experiment. The Armageddon devices are now stored very safely in the highest security area called Level 13 of OS. Danger reveals that if the Armageddon machine is successfully stolen, the whole world will face its end. In the group of agents assigned to this major case is Junie Cortez, Carmen's long-lost older brother. He receives the OS badge, but Carmen throws it away because she is still very angry about him suddenly disappearing. Right after that, all agents are sent to carry out the mission of searching for Timekeeper's whereabouts. A moment later, Danger approaches Rebecca and Cecil to praise them for their brave actions earlier. He apologizes for not letting them carry out the mission and advises the two to cherish their family while they still have the chance. When Danger turns and walks away, Rebecca sharply notices the watch on his hand is identical to Timekeeper's. Cecil also connects the events and realizes the name Danger is actually an anagram of the term Armageddon. Hearing this news, Danger quickly locks the door and reveals his true form, affirming that he really is Timekeeper. He locks the door to trap the children in the room and then escapes. Currently, Marissa along with Carmen and Junie are in the process of returning to the watch shop. The children contact Marissa to report that Danger is actually Timekeeper, but Marissa only thinks it is a joke, so she ignores it and quickly hangs up. When Marissa's group enters, Timekeeper removes his mask, revealing his true identity as Danger. He affirms that the Armageddon device is currently placed right at OS headquarters and his subordinates are on their way to take it. After that, he activates the electrical circuit integrated in their ID cards to neutralize all OS agents standing still in this flow of time. However, Junie, who owns the card that Carmen had thrown away earlier, is not affected at all. The boy immediately calls Rebecca and Cecile, urging the two to act quickly to destroy Timekeeper's plan. Thanks to its mechanical ability, Argonaut rams the room door open, helping the children escape outside. At the same time, Junie removes the ID cards from Marissa and Carmen, allowing them to move normally. After that, Cecil tries to enter the level 13 door, which is where the Armageddon system is stored, but he discovers a dangerous trap and quickly closes the door again. Rebecca runs over and suggests they pretend to surrender in order to approach Danger. At that moment, TikTok and his henchmen burst in and capture the children. In another scene, Wilbur is focused on watching television when Argonaut suddenly calls. The robot reports that Rebecca and Cecil are in mortal danger and urges him to come rescue them. When the kids face Danger, they ask why he is carrying out such crazy actions. Danger reveals that his own father was the one behind the Wells experiment, and he is the child who was trapped in the flow of time back then. His father spent his entire remaining life trying every way to rescue his son, but failed and finally passed away. Then one day, a group of experts discovered the Chronos Sapphire, which is a substance from a meteorite with extremely strange properties, the kind that could rescue him from the frozen situation. But ironically, when he was freed, he realized all his old acquaintances and those he loved were no longer there. Therefore, Danger always longed to return to the past to enjoy those wonderful moments with his father once more. So now he plans to use the Armageddon system to go back to the time of the past. Hearing this, Cecil suddenly understands that Danger has actually tried time travel countless times, but each time only made everything much worse. The boy exposes the bitter truth that TikTok and his subordinates are actually failed clones of Danger himself. Rebecca sympathizes with the man's pain, and the girl advises him to use the time he currently has in a truly wise way instead of blindly trying to extend it further. When Danger steps into his personal time vortex, he finally succeeds, perhaps thanks to the Chronos Sapphire going through the gate created by the Armageddon device with him. He reappears right where the gate just opened, but now in the form of an extremely aged version. Then, he sighs and admits to Cecile and Rebecca that they were right, that he could never change the past and his father is still gone. He instructs the children that humanity should not immerse itself in the past, but should focus on living and looking toward the future. At that very moment, TikTok tries to intervene but is stopped by Wilbur, who has just reunited with Marissa and his children. When TikTok tries to get up to escape again, baby Maria suddenly knocks him down, demonstrating an extraordinary source of power that is truly astonishing. The movie ends with the scene of Carmen and Junie announcing that they will manage a new kid spy program together, and Rebecca with Cecil are the first outstanding recruits of theirs. Thank you for following.